It's no secret that Christopher Nolan's Interstellar was inspired by Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey in many ways. Nolan has repeatedly addressed his love for the film and how it impacted his project within the boundaries of science fiction. But when it comes to looking at the central theme of both films, they differ in a very important way. The question of human evolution is one of the biggest topics to explore, and there are many examples that highlight a distinction in both films. In this video, I'm going to be analysing how Interstellar offers a new perspective on human evolution in comparison with 2001. This video essay continues my Road to Tenet series, where I create content on every film in Christopher Nolan's filmography. To stay up to date with all of this content, including videos on Tenet next week, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoy this video, remember to leave a like rating. Without further ado, let's dive into human evolution in Interstellar and 2001. Just after the release of Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, I was writing a dissertation on the comparisons between Nolan's film and Kubrick's 2001. Now, at the time, I was looking for smaller correlations, but I wasn't necessarily explaining these things in the best of ways. There was no understood context in terms of why Nolan would make the choices he did to separate his film from Kubrick's when discussing human evolution. Over the years after writing this essay, I have revisited the film many times, and it has become clearer to me what Nolan focused on. To me, Interstellar is a human reply to Kubrick's supernatural question. Nolan's film centralises around the what-if scenario, and is pictured as the catastrophe of a dying Earth. The disturbing factor is a known one. The viewer knows what the consequences of overpopulation and the insufficiency of resources are. In Interstellar, we find several of these questions. What if Earth would exhaust its resources? What if a wormhole would appear near Earth? What if we could explore the interior of a black hole? Or what if we could explore space and time, irrespective of the dimension obstacle? With Interstellar, the big unknowns are the arrow of time, gravity, and space configuration in black hole conditions and extra dimensions of space. However, in Kubrick's 2001, the monolith is the emblematic manifestation of the unknown, and at the same time, the expression of the what-if scenario. The situation here is that what if one day, in the course of pre-human life, some unknown factor manifests itself? This unknown factor is represented by the monolith, time, and mental confusion. We also get the presence of HAL 9000, which is an artificial entity and another manifestation of the unknown. With HAL, the focus placed on madness is the epiphany of the unknown. For Kubrick, the unknown factor is represented as pure spectacular in awe-aspiring sequences. In films like 2001 or Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the sequences appear in long takes in order to make tangible the unknown and hyperbolic displays of audiovisual stimuli. They are cinema in its purest, from where all present sound is left behind for the pure experience of the undescribable. Now, although this example between the what-if and the unknown is a clear separation between both films, they both trigger their journeys of human evolution through a primary event. In 2001, it's the monolith appearing in front of the apes, which we then see in other key areas of the film later on. After the famous cut which launches humanity millions of years later into space, we focus on humans who are technologically advanced. But soon after, the discovery of a second monolith on a moon base becomes the catalyst for humans to move further through space. In Interstellar, the primary event involves the coordinates laid out on the dust in Murph's bedroom. She believes it's her ghost until later on in the film. The second event, which echoes that second monolith in 2001, is the appearance of the wormhole. In both occasions, the object of advancement for humanity has to be placed by someone or something. Therefore, Interstellar and 2001 both open by portraying the idea that some mysterious force is working in humanity's favour. But what comes next is what separates both of these approaches. With Interstellar, Nolan gives the audience an answer to the what-if idea. He depicts emotion and love as human elements that counterbalance nature's inhumanity. The viewer is engaged in the emphatic follow-up of the character in order to have the experience of intense emotional involvement. Nolan's drama stages the control of the film not just as a pure aesthetic experience, but as an emotional coping with the inhuman unknown. The characters are struggling in landscapes that aren't human, but they are also dealing with their own faltered perceptions of time and space, along with the tension between themselves. On the other hand, Kubrick doesn't elaborate on emotions and empathy. He depicts the encounter between the human element with a transcendent one, which can trigger the next step in cognitive evolution. This quality combines the features of the sublime and of the sacred, which inspires fear and worship. This transcendent reality can be experienced and apprehended in its benevolent and malevolent ways. A good example of the benevolent would be Bowman as the spectator of his own fate, with the malevolent being the conflict between the apes or even the evil actions of HAL 9000. Essentially, Kubrick presents this kind of reality as one that can be experienced as madness or as wisdom. Where HAL, in a humanistic way, turns on the astronauts, TARS in Interstellar aids them. It's only until Cooper and Brand put their faith in a human being named Dr. Mann that they realise they've made the mistake. Mann tries to abandon them because of his own cowardice and dies by his own missteps, which is unlike Dave putting an end to HAL's evil turn in 2001. But Bowman is a character during these situations that is also unknown to the audience, one that we don't know too much about, nor there being any mentioning of his family. In the reverse to this, Nolan's main driving point is placed on Cooper's connection with Murph, showing how everything stems through their love for each other across space and time. The entire narrative and survival instinct for Cooper involves wanting to see his children again, and this drives him to save them, to save humanity as a whole, and while doing so, come across the answer to their own evolution. The summarization of this effect is portrayed by the transportive third act sequences in both films. As both central characters have a celestial experience, one being Cooper in the black hole and the other being Bowman in the Stargate, they eventually differentiate. Before Bowman lays on his metaphorical deathbed, he's alone, aging through this moment in time until finally the monolith reappears. It is at this moment that the monolith is the object that pushes or guides humanity forward. Dave Bowman is reborn as something greater than human and watches over the Earth in the form of a star child. Thus, the next step in their evolution begins. What Interstellar does, which shows a separation, is focus on the human connection between Cooper and Murph. As Cooper enters the Tesseract, he's able to communicate with Murph to give her the data that is needed to save humanity through vast areas of space and time. But what he realises in this sequence is that the wormhole was placed by humans. Future humans that can transcend dimensions of time and space, aiding their own kind forward to higher places. While 2001 shows the supernatural pushing of humanity forward, Interstellar ends on a message of humans pushing themselves forward. It gives an answer and at the same time poses the question of where humans could go. We live in an age where we are more concerned with social and political problems on Earth, to the point where we've almost forgotten to question who we are, where we are, and where we're going. Even if we believe in everything we know is the be-all and end-all, Interstellar suggests that we should look beyond that to better ourselves. It's an empowering message of hope that fits as an impactful answer to Kubrick's transcendent questioning. Through these examples, I believe 2001 and Interstellar both capture the question of human evolution in unique and evolving ways. Kubrick made us question, and Nolan made us relieved with an answer. This is the brilliance of true art. You can be inspired by something and it arises your own self-ideas about that very topic. Nolan added to the question of evolution in science fiction filmmaking in brilliant ways, and ones which can get us thinking about what is next. As Cooper ventures outward at the end of the film and Brand arrives on Edmund's planet, humanity is moving forward by its own hand, and it's powerful to see that play out. Although only the test of time will tell us if Interstellar can last the decades that a film like 2001 has, the leaps that Nolan made is worth discussing. Interstellar suggests that we should aspire to be greater and to go beyond what we perceive as reality during every hour of every day. In this regard, Kubrick has to be admired for what he did. Many still look up to a film like 2001, including myself, but until anyone tries to approach the unknown remains touchless. In this reflection, it's important to consider in the context of both films how a piece of art builds on a previous one and how it adds to the overall conversation. But let me know down below what your thoughts are towards the influence of Stanley Kubrick's 2001 on Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, and whether you agree with the points on the evolution in both films that I have made in this analysis. My final video in this Christopher Nolan marathon focuses on Dunkirk. I will be analysing how Nolan reversed the war genre and in turn made a compelling and tension-packed film about survival. This video will be up in the next few days alongside much more content on Tenet after the film releases. To stay up to date with all of these uploads, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a like rating. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.